Hey, this is Puneet back again. And if you look at my screen here, I have 5 values in the cell A1, and all these values are basically combined using a line break. And now I want to split all these values in 5 different cells. So let's get started. And if you're using Excel 365, you have access to this new function that is called text split that allows you to split this value with line breaks into 5 different values in just a few seconds. So you don't need to write any complex formula. So in the text split, I'm going to specify this text that I have in the cell A1, and in the column delimiter, I need to use a function that is called char, that means character. And here I'm going to enter 10. That is the code for the line break. And then row delimiter, I don't have. Ignore empty cells, I don't have. Let me just go with true. Match mode, case insensitive. Even though you don't need to add these arguments because all of these arguments are optional. And let me hit enter. And you can see I have all the 5 values divided into 5 different cells. So this is the easiest way to split these values with line break into 5 different cells. Right. So here I'm going to use a formula that you can use in any Excel version. But before that, we need to understand that how that formula works. So I'm going to write this formula and also make you understand how this formula works. So first of all, I'm going to start with the substitute function that allows me to replace a value from another value. So this is my main string. So I'm going to enter substitute and then text, that is where my original value is, and the cell is A2. Now the value that I want to replace is the line break. So for this, I'm going to use this function called char, and I'm going to enter 10 that defines the line break character. So the new text that I want to replace line break with is spaces. So for this, I'm going to use this function rept, R-E-P-T, that means repetition, and I'm going to specify blank space. But how many blank spaces I want to add instead of the line break? So what I'll do for this, again, I'm going to use this function called length, L-E-N, and I'm going to specify the length of this value. So let's say if I have 36 characters in this original value, rept function will return 36 blank spaces. So let me close this function and hit enter. So you can see now I have a value where I have all the 5 values, but in between each value, I have 36 blank spaces. Now, instead of having line break within each value, I have 36 blank spaces. So let me just enter length function here again and show you how many characters I have. So I have 36 characters, and that is why I have now 36 spaces between each value here. And now I'm going to extract the first value, that is apple, from the value that I have got from substitute function. So for this, I'm going to use the mid function, and this is my value. And now here I'm going to use a small formula that gives me the starting position of the value to extract. So if I want to extract apple, it will give me the starting position. And if I want to extract banana, it will give me the starting position to extract. So I'll enter 1 minus 1. Here, this one is something that you need to change when you want to extract the second value. So I'll show you just in a few seconds. 1 minus 1, an ampersand, and then an asterisk for multiplication, and then again length function, and plus 1, and again the length function, and hit enter. Now you can see I have got apple, the first value here in my result. But what is happening here? Let me just show you the small formula that I have used for the start num, the second argument. Let me press F9. You can see it says the starting value of the extraction for this formula would be first. So it should start extracting values, characters from the first character. And how many characters it should extract? Let me press F9 again, 36. But when I enter 2 here, let's say 2, it gives me banana. But let me again select this part and press F9. It says 37. starting position 37, and how many characters? Again 36. So this count of characters is fixed because we have fixed length here, but this count of starting number will change when I change the sequence of value that I want to extract. So if I want to extract the third value instead of the first, I just need to change the number from here. Now, if you look at when I extract the first value, I get apple straight away without any leading spaces. But when I extract the third value, I also get a few starting or ending spaces. The value cherry is here, but there are a lot of spaces along with that. So what is happening here? We are not extracting the exact value from this big value with all the spaces, but we are extracting a chunk from each part. So in between apple and banana, we have the exact number of spaces equivalent to this original string here. So when I extract first apple, it gives me first five characters, and it also gives me 31 spaces from here. So 5 plus 31, I get 36 characters. And then I need to use, let's say, let me just go back here and enter 1 here. So 5 characters and then 31 spaces. And to only get the value that I have, I need to use trim as well. So this will remove all those spaces that I have after the value. And when I extract banana, so let's say if I go and enter 2 here, now it's starting to extract value from the 37th character from this value, the main value. Let me just show you. When I change from 1 to 2, let me just press F9 here. You can see it says 37. And when I enter 3 here and then show you F9, it says 73. So again, as I said, I'm not extracting exact value, but I'm extracting the chunk from each part of this big value. Like this, like this, like this, and like this. So every time you extract a value, you get leading spaces and trailing spaces. Only in the first value, that is apple, you'll get the trailing spaces, but with every other value from second to fifth, you will get some leading spaces and trailing spaces. And that is why we are using trim here. So we can remove those spaces. Now to use this formula, let me combine both of these formulas into one. I'll go here and for A4, that's the original string, I'm going to replace it with the substitute. And here I have my second value. Now what I'll do, I'll go here, copy this formula, let me delete it, paste it here, and hit enter. Oops. Let me copy it again and paste it here. Now, instead of just entering the sequence number of here, I'm going to connect this reference with the cell B1. So now let me freeze these references. I'm going to use F4 and this also, again F4, this F4, and the last one. 4. Now when I drag this formula to the right side, I'll get all the values, all the 5 values in 5 different cells, because I'm using this n number from the row 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. And if you have 6 values here, you need to enter 6 here and drag your formula to the right side and you'll get the 6th value as well. So this formula is quite powerful, but it looks like a complex one, which it is not. And if you have any confusion about this formula, make sure to share your comments with me in the comment section.